Being broadcast on Facebook Live.
What up,
What up,
everybody?
everybody?
Look at
What's up,
what's up, Jimbo?
Jimbo?
Let me
Let
play my
me play my
song, Jimmy.
song, Jimmy.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks. Chris Walker will be on shortly. But guess what, Jimmy? Jimmy, I can phase that music out. Jimmy, let me see. Hold on. Let me see how it goes. What's up, man? Boy, we got hey, man. Well, hold on. When I tell you we got a packed show today, but I want to start off, Jimmy. I got some, I'm just so proud today being a golfer, and being a African American golfer and watching the stuff that Stephon Curry, the announcement. A matter of fact, the announcement just was over a few minutes ago. In case you didn't know, NBA superstar Stephon Curry was in D.C. today for the announcement that he will sponsor Howard University's men's and women's, Jimmy, men's and women's basketball program. You got me?
Golf.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, golf program. I'm sorry, my mind went golf program. The Howard University athletic director called it one of the most generous gifts in the school history. The gift to Howard is also the latest in encouraged public love affair for golf, which he's been playing since he's been age of 10 years old. That's why I always advocate getting your kids involved in golf. He wasn't a professional golfer, but he used golf. Look how his passion for golf going to help these kids. Jimmy, it's a whole lot of stuff to unpack here. Y'all can go back and forth with it. But I found out they just had the press conference. And Stephon, before I get off, Stephon had a shout out to this young man who inspired him to do this. The young kid is named Otis Ferguson, the third, I think. He's a junior at Howard who turned down scholarships at other colleges, but he wanted to attend Howard. He's a pretty good golfer. He had scholarships other places, Chris Walker. But guess what? He said, I wanted to get this education from Howard, but he created a little golf club at Howard. And that guy, you remember when Steph went up to have his screen. You remember Steph did the screening? He was the producer of that that movie called Emmanuel, where the kids, the white kid Dylan Roof came in and shot the family of the people in South Carolina at the St. Emmanuel Church. Stephon had a screening of that movie in D.C. And the young kid was in the audience, and he just went up to Steph and said, Otis Ferguson. He said, hey, Steph, man, while you're in town, let's go play some golf tomorrow. They didn't play golf, but they struck up the conversation, and he told him, Steph, about Howard don't have a team, but I'm going to Howard. And thus, January, I was in January. Now we're in August. Look what has happened by that one chance meeting. So what's up, fellas? Y'all can chime in. I just wanted to go there. Yeah. What's going on?
Well, I mean, that's a good thing for Howard in the golf program. I mean, they hadn't had the program since the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a great thing, and it's very I would call it innovative, because that's an area where you're seeing his funds directly applied and would benefit quite a few student athletes in the process at an HBCU. So, and what it could do, it could raise the bar and influence others, regardless of sport, to join. I mean, a lot of guys, people watching right now, understand something. There are a lot of athletes who are pouring their resources into colleges, but it just has a different type of warmness in your heart when you see HBCUs are on the receiving end of it. So that's the thing. It's not to say that nobody else is doing nothing, but this is something that was really, really, really intriguing and different. Chris, you can speak on it as well.
I'm just curious that he asked them where how the funds going to be delegated, and if there was any accounting. Hatter.
Say it again, Chris.
Ask it.
Echoing.
I was wondering if he asked what about the accounting of the funds and stuff? Was that going to stop it from the way the other guy did when he talked to Chris Broussard? You know what I mean? Like,
but Chris, first of all, this guy got a passion for golf.
I feel you. I'm just asking.
I think his passion for golf. It's going to be a 6-year commitment. I don't know if Jimmy. I don't know if you saw that. It's a 6-year commitment, and they're hoping that Howard's endowment or people support the program. He's gonna give them 6 years to get them off their feet. And but I understand what you're saying about that. But Stephon Terry, I mean, it's just the young kid just moved it, Chris. Just moved it.
I mean, I think it's no, go on.
Because I know you was being a little sarcastic about the other athlete who didn't want to give the money to. Maybe he didn't have the purpose or the pull or the spirit. This little young kid pulled some out of Steph. But guess, Jimmy, it's a prerequisite too. If you're on this team, you have to volunteer for Eat, Health, and Play. This initiative for healthy living and healthy eating. Initiated by Stephon's wife. So you have to volunteer in that program also. So it's
So Howard has to buy all her food products probably then, right? Probably, no?
No. The kids didn't have to. But you know what? Hey, Jimmy, I was we always have
What'd you say? I didn't say nothing.
It's always a Negro nation.
I didn't say nothing.
But Chris, what's so unique though? You lost my train of thought with that. But it was
you called me a Negro naysayer.
Yeah, Negro naysayer. But no, it's that's why I'm trying for you. But no, but Jimmy, Chris, Jimmy, I didn't. You know what got me so surprised? Chris didn't bring up Under Armour. Stephon just came out with a new line of Under Armour golf clothing, and you didn't bring that up. I was.
He doesn't. He's not a golfer. Why? Hold up. He's not a golfer.
Who's not a golfer?
Steph Curry doesn't play professional golf.
No.
He loves golf, so they probably made some stuff that he could wear because they're trying to find a way to leverage the brand more. But he's not a golfer.
Chris, go look it up, Chris. Go, Chris. No, don't look it up. Follow Robert Hatter's lead here, okay?
He's not a golfer. Keep going.
Stephon has played in several professional. He's not a professional golfer, but he has played in several professional golf tournaments.
Okay.
And hold on, listen. And outranked and beat the professional golfers. So guess what? He got a golf line. Excuse me. What y'all call it, Jimmy? Jimmy. A lifestyle line.
Okay, I'll take that. He got a side piece line. I got you, a side piece line. So what he got a side piece line because again, he's not a golfer. If they have a pro-am, he's the am. Okay. In a pro-am, he's the am, right, Chichi? He's the am.
I understand that. I'm with that.
Like Tony Romo, your favorite quarterback. But he's actually a pro golfer. Yeah, keep whistling all you want. He'll tear your head off. Keep it up.
He probably can give me. I got somebody that can beat him too, though. Kenny Hardaway.
No, please. No way.
Now, of course, if you just tune into the Chop Shop, guys, I'm telling you, Mondays are always fun days with us. We have a variety of topics that we're going to engage today. And also, we have a special that I'm going to implement to you guys at the top of the hour. I'm going to release the updated rankings for the Greater Houston's class of 2020. So did the rankings over the weekend, and guess what? I did the rankings. Yes, I came out of retirement to do these rankings, and so therefore,
I thought you always do the senior ranking.
Yeah, once they start school, but the school hasn't started yet. So this is really still on Doug Watts. So I went on and I said, you know what? Because I wanted to do and comprise a list before Rucker on Wood, which takes place this weekend for the 9th and 10th graders, and the following Sunday for the 11th and 12th graders. I was adamant. I needed them updated rankings because they hadn't been updated on the website since April. And that is unfair. So truly, if you ask me, and that's why I wanted to get in, and we're going to get into all that stuff on the back nine. We got so much professional stuff to talk about now. And the next topic up, of course, over the weekend, of course, we all got the bad, it's like everything jumps off on Thursday evening or Friday when the Chop Shop is not on the air. And we missed Boogie Cousins suffered an ACL injury while working out in Las Vegas, and he is out for the season.
Career over. Gensu.
With the Los Angeles
Gensu. But hey, you know what? Hey, Cheat Sheet. You know what he needs to do? He might as well. I was watching Rocky 3. Was it Rocky 3? Which was the one with Clubber Lang? Rocky 3.
I don't keep up with that.
Yeah, you remember Rocky 3? Come on, with Clubber Lang. What's the team?
I remember it, but I don't keep up with. I don't know the numbers.
I got a new nickname for Biggie Cousin. They gonna call him Thunderlips. Remember Hulk Hogan played the wrestler? That's what Biggie Cousins Marcus Cousins might as well go be a wrestler, man. It's over for him, man. It's over.
I mean, it's going to be. And the thing is with Boogie Cousins, and once again, it's a lesson to be learned. Think about he left 2 bags on the table. He could have got paid in New Orleans. He could have before he got hurt. He could have went on and opted in, and they could have hammered down a deal to stay in New Orleans, and then he ended up getting hurt. Then you take and leave money on the table to go sacrifice and re-energize your career to get in the quest of a ring with Golden State. He played for $5 million last year. This year with the Lakers, his minimum, he was going to only play for $3.5 million.
That's all he's worth. That's all he's worth, Jimmy.
No,
Listen, that might have been too much for him, Hannah. That might have been too much money. He got one leg. How you gonna play in the NBA with one leg? A torn Achilles takes everybody out. It's over. Now he got a torn Achilles and he's got a torn ACL. It's a wrap. His career's a wrap. It's a wrap.
So now, over the weekend, Ramona Shelburne of ESPN broke the news that the Lakers had sought out and got permission from the Memphis Grizzlies, who's expecting to waive Dwight Howard.
Whoa. The Hall of Famer? They going to waive him?
What they gonna do with it, Chris?
Have the mighty have fallen, boy. Have the mighty have fallen.
Chris, what they gonna do with him?
You mean Dwight Howard that said I should have listened to Kobe? Like Kobe was right. I was a little, oh wow. Dwight Howard, the one with the butt issue, the gluteus maximus issue. That Dwight Howard. Come on, Cheat Sheet. Come on, Cheat Sheet. That Dwight Howard with the gluteus maximus issue?
Yeah, that Dwight Howard.
With the dude that came out, of the news and said,
don't go there, Chris.
I'm saying that Dwight Howard. They gonna let that dude go play with LeBron?
Back to the Lakers. You know what? Evidently, LeBrick want him to come out there and play with him.
LeBrick, boy, y'all, you just so disrespectful.
Hey, you know what, Dane? Let me tell you something like this. Let me tell you like this. Remember now, according to the report, the Lakers' interest in Dwight Howard is basically due diligence.
That ain't true. No way. They're gonna try to get him. Trust me.
Now, understand this. Based on productivity, Dwight Howard has proven he's not the best teammate in the world. And he's proven that in several stops. He even went home to Atlanta 2 years ago. Proved it in and out. You're not the best teammate in the world. Sometimes you, if you go along and go around, it's you. And we understand that. But remember now, Kobe's agent, former agent, is running the ship. Remember, Dwight Howard left there. Rob Pelinka is his name. So when Dwight Howard, he only played 1 year in LA. That's 2012. And in one season, when he left, he tried to, think about it. Dwight Howard always felt that he was, think about it. Remember he wore the S on his chest in the slam dunk contest?
Superman.
And when
He was pretty good, man. He was pretty good.
Understand? No, we're not, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not good, but I'm talking about, see, what I'm talking about right now is off the basketball court. Well, outside of the regulation basketball game stuff about him. He went and you poked at Shaq. That's an indirect poke at Shaq because Shaq had claimed himself, whether who believed it or agreed with it or not, but he had took on the Superman moniker that years before.
But Shaq had 12 nicknames though.
Jimmy, the key thing you said, Shaq self-proclaimed. So if Shaq can self-proclaim himself, this guy here can self-proclaim himself.
And plus he did it in the slam dunk contest.
He just did it for the slam dunk contest.
Why not another superhero? Why not another superhero?
Which one he gonna use?
Superheroes don't fly.
Which one he gonna use, Jimmy?
He could have found one. He could have just he could have got a Greek god or something.
Black Panther wasn't out yet. What you gonna do?
Aquaman.
Exactly.
No. But one thing that I can say about Dwight Howard, now once understand, then the most recent tribulations was about and on that he had a relationship with Dwight Howard and basically insinuating indirectly.
Man, why you gotta go there, man? Why you gotta go there? Why you gotta go there, man? Why you gotta? You messy, man.
That's new. This the chop
messy. You messy, man.
Hold on. Since you want to talk about that guy, I got something better for you. I was at Baylor this weekend.
That guy was there?
He got a girlfriend that's on Baylor basketball team.
Who?
Dwight Howard.
No. No way.
Go Google that. I think somebody
he's in high school.
Wait a minute. With a college student girlfriend. Yes, sir.
Now we need some information, man. We got to verify that, man.
I was there, Chris.
We got to verify. I'm Googling it right now.
Chris,
I'm looking at the Baylor basketball girls team right now.
So Chris sound like the guy that you release the news and say, well, Stephen A. Smith said it must be true.
Yeah, he wanted them. You know what? He wanted them. Hey, Chris, if I tell you a duck can pull a truck, just go hook the duck up to the truck. And that's all you need to do.
You from Memphis, man. I ain't doing that.
Wait a minute. Let's get this right. You saying Dwight Howard has a girlfriend that's a student?
I know her name. Tia Cooper.
What class does she play in sports, or she just a student?
She played basketball, I think. Really? Yeah.
Hey, y'all messy.
Because she was with the other basketball girl that was kind of a star.
Is it Messy Monday at the Chop Shop? I'm just curious.
No, it's not Messy Monday, but no. If you're gonna talk about his
he with this guy,
let's talk about the real girl.
Wow. Okay. So what you're doing is what you're doing is you're still diverting. Dwight Howard gonna have to come out of that closet sooner or later. He studied the 9. And the thing is, the worst place for him I'm gonna tell you something. The worst city in the world that you can hide or conceal your fruitfulness it will be Los Angeles. You can't hide that for long now.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I think that's rumor. I don't know if that's factual information.
Hold on. Really? So you really after all that stuff, you really believe that was? You really believe that they ain't hold hands?
You mean the boy toy?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, well, that's a whole different story. I mean, that's
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
They said he had the butt issue, right? Where he's like his butt was.
Yeah, his back was.
Oh, he had a strain.
He had a gluteus strain. A gluteus maximus.
You never have a gluteus strain?
I never had one of them.
Man, y'all something else, man.
Hey, Chris, you better stop going to Soul Cycle. Jimmy.
Hey, I stopped it because of my man Stephen Ross. I stopped it.
No, I ain't talking about Stephen Ross.
Who you talking about?
I'll tell you after the show. Jimmy,
Yeah.
Now back, I wanted to add something about Dwight Howard. I mean, in all fun aside, one thing about him that's going, and that's on his part, in his agent or his marketing department. There ain't many centers in the league that have put up the numbers over 15 seasons as Dwight Howard. This dude's average, his career average is like 17 points and 12 rebounds a game over his career. In 15 seasons, there's only been one time that Dwight Howard has pulled average less than 10 rebounds a game. And when was that? This past season, he averaged like 9, or a little bit over 9 with Washington. And that's why. Think about it. He averaged only 9 this season. That's his low. He came out of high school. Remember, he came straight out of high school in 2004. And that was a monster class when he came out and from out of Atlanta. And this, well, understand, he's not the best to get along with.
Will be now.
But at the same time, we all know that with time and with experience, you can learn from lessons. And if the Lakers find it in their investigations of him or in their evaluations of him that he has indeed changed and can accept the criticism, because that's another thing. Dwight Howard could never accept much criticism. Everywhere he went, even in Houston, the minute he have a bad game and they pile on him, he did not want to accept criticism. Then he had the nerve, the gall, to go and tell.
Hold up, Jim. That mitigated gall.
Yeah, the mitigated gall to go and tell the Rockets, either you got to get rid of him or me.
Wait a minute. He wasn't talking about my nephew. He wasn't talking about my nephew, was he?
Man.
You gonna get rid of James Harden, or you gonna get rid of me? And they say, okay, hold on, Dwight. We'll call you back in a second. The phone, it's a bad connection on his phone. We'll call you back. And next thing you know, he got a text message with his plane ticket to get the hell up out of here and cut it. I mean, understand. But if he's changed, because remember, LeBron James is around the same age. LeBron came out in 2003. Dwight Howard in 2000. What's that noise?
Chris, get off the phone.
No, what I'm doing is, what it is I'm looking at this thing about the Baylor girl. Looks like she went to South Carolina. We did all these, tell all these girls, Chi, before you go back to that point. I can't believe you mentioning Dwight Howard and LeBron James in the same breath, but I'm going to leave that where it is. Tell these girls to get off Instagram, please. Can you tell them to get off Instagram? Oh, my goodness.
Why you on there? Well, why you on there looking at it?
Because I Googled this thing when Todd was talking about it. Looked like the girl went to South Carolina. He says Dwight Howard is 21-year-old boo. So it's somebody. You right about that, Todd.
I met her.
Whoa. But I think this girl went to South Carolina. Why are you saying Baylor?
She's from Atlanta. She at Baylor, dude. She's at Baylor.
21 years old, huh?
Yeah. Oh, she's old enough. She's legal.
That's old enough.
Hattie, he must be you must be his uncle. He taking after you.
Hey, man, Jimmy, get back to the
now here's the thing.
Man.
Now here's the thing. We're talking about Dwight Howard right now and this situation. Would it be a smart move for the Lakers to obtain or pursue Dwight Howard, or should they settle and go for Joakim Noah? And I'm gonna let you guys talk about. I mean, it ain't no comparison to me.
They need them both.
Both?
What? Yeah, they need them both.
No.
Why not?
How would you need them both?
Who else they have? Who else do they have?
How would you need them both?
They got JaVale McGee, right? Who's won a ring.
Yes.
But he's a space cadet.
Jinzu.
He's a space cadet. So what I'm saying is, out of those two players, one of them got to be good. I wouldn't take one or the other. I'd take them both and play whichever one is going good, sit the other one down, and vice versa. I look at their roster. They got LeBron,
Dude,
and they got AD. Look, who's going to start? You just said Dwight Howard is finished, man. His career is kaput. So what I'm saying, what are you going to do to him?
Why sign him anyway? For insurance?
Because you need the bodies. You need the bodies. You need the bodies. You need the bodies. You got to have bodies. So I don't know, man.
Wow.
dude.
That's a good one.
It ain't no way that I'm going to take Joakim. If the money is the same and all things are considered, there's no way I'm taking Joakim Noah over Dwight Howard based on the productivity. They need somebody to regulate in the paint.
Okay.
And Dwight Howard indirectly, now don't get it twisted. Joakim Noah's had a lot of rest as well. He ain't been in the league in 2 years, right? So, but at the same time, I'm looking at Dwight Howard now. Now that we know his, we know what time it is with Dwight Howard. I'm looking at him with a different set of lenses right now. He can be the Dennis Rodman. He can be that Dennis Rodman. Remember, we knew Dennis Rodman was different. Dwight Howard can be the Dennis Rodman. He can be his. You know what? He can go put a rainbow in his head, dye his hair, go paint his fingernails. He just feel, you know what? And just be free as a bird. Just be free. That's all we need Dwight Howard to do. And know what happened then? His ratings would go up. His endorsements would go back up. He would be loved as long as the Lakers are winning.
Terrible.
That's the thing that's easy for him.
Hey,
For Joakim Noah, do you remember his shot? Joakim Noah, him and Ben Simmons, they should let them shoot around with each other during the All-Star weekend and have a game of hearts. Ben Simmons and Joakim, that's no way in the hell.
Well, just in
Joakim
case,
Noah.
put it like this: just in case the personality of Dwight Howard don't mesh, then there's hope the personality of Joakim Noah mesh. But Jimmy, I want to pivot a little bit because we talked last week about Mike Tyson, and I want to give a minor little shout out to him on this day in 1995, more than 4 years away, including prison time. He came back to fight Peter McNeely, a boxer, who looked like us, and the dude lasted 89 seconds. Do you know McNeely was paid $500,000 for that fight, and Tyson was paid $25 million for that fight, 46 times that fight? I just saw that little tidbit somebody just sent to me, but this happened on this day back in 1995. Mike Tyson was doing it big.
Man, they overpaid. They overpaid Peter McNeely. Oh my goodness.
500,000. Come on. So Jimmy, what we got next? I know we got.
Next up, of course, want to insert something for you guys real quick. Just breaking news and because football season is up on us, and we're gonna talk NFL in just a second. Before we get to NFL, I want to add something to you guys. Hot off the press, the Associated Press has released their preseason top 25 football teams, and for the first time ever, Clemson is number one in the country. Of course, Alabama is number 2. Georgia is number 3, followed by Oklahoma at 4, Ohio State at 5, LSU at 6, Michigan, Florida, Notre Dame at 7 through 9, and guess who's number 10?
Who?
The University of Texas.
Oh, wow.
Is preseason number 10. And of course, only one other Texas team is listed in the top 25, and that is
Chris.
Texas A&M is number 12.
Firing Charlie Strong really wasn't a bad idea, then.
Wow.
I'm just talking about results now.
Really had a
not necessarily not to say firing Charlie Strong was a bad idea. Hiring the new coach is what it appears. How
long was Charlie Strong the head coach?
He was about 4 or 5 years.
No, it wasn't that long. No way.
I thought it was 3.
I thought it was 2.
No, it was 3.
It was
They
more
gave
than two.
they gave his recruiting class a chance to play.
They gave his recruiting class.
I think they gave his first recruiting class a chance to play. I think. I'm not sure. All you Texas guys, let us know.
Yeah.
Speaking of
So
Texas,
I mean, that's
Jimmy,
so,
you know, a moment of silence, to Cedric Benson. Motorcycle accident, man.
What happened?
He got killed during a motorcycle accident over the weekend.
Oh my God!
One of the greatest running backs in Texas high school basketball history, Cedric Benson. A nice guy too, Jimmy. I'll try to represent him.
3 seasons at Texas. They gave him 3 seasons. So no.
Four.
No, I'm looking at it says 3.
Derek said 3. Melvin said 4. I believe Melvin because I think they gave him.
He was fired by Texas in 2016 with a 16-21 record in 3 seasons. So tell Melvin and Clay and Terry and all them other dudes you're talking about. You know what they're talking about, okay?
Well, where you got your information from?
Don't worry about that.
and so of course now we pivot and over the weekend, speaking of NFL news, of course you guys know that preseason games and the Texans had the preseason game over with Detroit. We don't really like to talk about much preseason on the Chop Shop, guys. So that's why you don't hear us engulf ourselves or dive into the preseason because
Jimmy, I got to dive in, Jimmy. You know why I'd like to dive in? The Houston Texans had the black quarterback starting and a black quarterback backup. That's for the Houston Texans. Pretty, hey, as y'all said down here, pretty dadgum good.
Who's the backup?
So that's all you get out. That's all you get out of the Texans game. Is that right?
That's all I got.
That's exactly. So ain't no sense in talking about the preseason right now. Now,
the brother.
Ain't no sense.
We won. Okay.
Come on, man.
We won.
Preseason. Let's talk about what's over the weekend.
Right.
The ongoing, the after effect and the tremors as a result of the NFL and their alliance with Jay-Z.
Okay.
And over the weekend, everybody's had a chance to calm down and I guess and absorb some of the stuff that's taking place. So now we're in a different space. Has anybody's stance changed with their thoughts on Jay-Z and this alliance?
I got a question, Jimmy, that I'd like to pose to you and Chris, and I'd like to propose to the Boom Boom Room. And my question is, or statement, I'm trying to figure out how I sit there and watched these guys going at each other. Jimmy talking about that's his friend, that's his partner, and all of that. Jay-Z and I sit back and watched how Twitterverse and how social media sit back and vilify Jay-Z, and I sit back and I stopped. I said, y'all talking about Jay-Z right now. Eric Reed talking about Jay-Z, Nessa talking about Jay-Z. And I said, have y'all ever thought about, no, y'all done forgot about the NFL? Y'all right here tearing Jay-Z head off, but y'all forgot the NFL. Y'all start liking NFL again now. You guess what? Jimmy just mentioned the Texans. The Texans played Beyonce and Jay-Z music the other night in the place. You know, the Texans had a moment of silence for Max Edison, African-American news reporter. And then they had North Shore on the field, I guess coming out of the tunnel. And I'm sitting there saying, now you got these 3 brothers going at each other. Now what, we done forgot that we had a problem with the NFL? Y'all just help me out. Just help me out.
The owner got a problem with the owners. Somebody And the way they.
And I got a question to you, Chris Walker.
Oh,
What have the owners, the 32 owners, what have they did to you?
what kind of question is that?
Because you say they got a, okay, well, excuse me.
I'm saying
no,
they.
No. You don't want to answer it. Boom, boom, room. What has the 32 owners in the NFL, what have they done to you? Because Chris don't want to answer it. It's not fair for him. What did the owners, because you the one brought the word up, Chris. Well, it's the owners. Well,
No. You said NFL. You're saying NFL. When you say NFL, you mean the owners.
Yes.
It's not the NFL. It's the owners. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're the ones that make the rules. They vote,
Okay,
board of governors, right?
What did the owners do to you?
I didn't say they do it. They did anything to me. But what was your question?
So
What do you mean? What did they do to me?
I asked a question. Why are people mad at the owners?
Well, here's the deal. It's twofold. The players, they have poor. I don't like to say they have a poor collective bargaining agreement, but the bottom line is the way they get paid. They want more guaranteed contracts. By your information, Hatter, and your expertise, you say that will never happen because of the rate that they get injured. That's why their contracts are structured the way they are. Now, what people get upset about is because guys like Jerry Jones, guys like Stephen Ross line up with Donald Trump. That's why they get upset. And you, by your own admission, hold up, Adam, by your own admission, you said all 32 owners voted for the red states. They all Republican. That's what you said. So you wonder why people have a problem with the NFL.
You get mad at people because of their political efficient. So my friends, hold up, that are Republicans, that I suppose that, hold on, you just said, I suppose to not like my friends because they're Republican?
Well, hold on now. I didn't say you didn't like them, but I like to know anybody. Y'all hear the echo? I got echo going.
Jimmy,
somebody. I think somebody got. Anyway, I'd like to know how many people I've been knowing you for how many years. I don't know one friend that you guys Republican. I've been everywhere from the rooter to the tutor with you. So I like to know. So I like to know which one those dudes. Hey, Tishi, we done been around Jimmy a few places. I'd like to know.
No. When I go meet you at these restaurants,
that's different. I've seen you other places.
What's the name of that restaurant, Jimmy?
Easy. We don't. Wait, hold on. We don't disclose that. We don't disclose the layer.
Them y'all friends. I don't know none of them people.
Boy, let me tell you something. You need to stop on the chop shop. Boom, boom, boom. Get him. They done send you out too. Hatter. All your friends.
Chris. All I'm saying is, I saw 3 black men. Well, Jay-Z wasn't. I saw some people attacking all 3 guys. They were arguing with each other. And what's your boy? What's that little tea thing? And Roger Goodell and them was over there sipping some tea. We got to watch that. We got to watch that.
They got an image problem. They got an image problem because of the Kaepernick thing. You know that. They're trying to repair their image. So they're doing damage control. So just what you do to black folks. You know what you do, Hannah? Just like you said about the Asian thing. Dangling a little money. They don't care about principles. You know what you do to black folks? Let me finish. Put their favorite rapper out there and what we do. Put their favorite rapper out there and they all say, you know what, forget about it.
Jimmy, they didn't have to dangle. I ain't talking about what they dangling. Jimmy.
They dangle Jay-Z.
Hold on, listen to me. I'm talking about, so because they dangle Jay-Z, we attack Jay-Z?
I mean, yeah.
Why don't you attack the source?
Adam, think about it. You know how we do things. They're going to attack Jay-Z because Jay-Z, when they got the stadium in Brooklyn, the people in Brooklyn fought against it. They put a poster of Jay-Z up. I'm saying people remember that. People, and first of all, you didn't give me that information. People remember that. People remember that. Oh, so say it again. Say it again. All that what information and what?
All that information I gave you about
Thank you. Exactly. Exactly.
All I'm saying is, Chris, you said they dangling a carrot.
Yeah.
So instead of being mad at the carrot dangler, we're mad at Jay-Z.
It's an olive branch, right? Jimmy, is it not an olive branch? Yes or no?
I mean, only time will tell that. We don't, I mean, you can speculate on either side, and right now it's about actions. We will see. And one thing for sure, you can't hide it. And that's just my afterthoughts. Me personally, I'm in a space right now whereas I really don't care about Jay-Z, the NFL, and their situation. I really don't care. And that's the thing. Maybe I really don't care because of the fact that I care as much as about football as some of you guys care about squash.
Okay.
I really don't. So that may be my deal. So that means I care about football as much as you guys care about soccer.
You know what I came to conclusion though the other night? One of the things I decided to believe in terms of this whole thing, that I just think we're having the wrong conversation. That's all. We're having a conversation about Negro acceptability, meaning the NBA basically has a standard of divide and conquer amongst our people.
You mean NFL?
Yeah, the NFL. The NFL. They saying we'll deal with this Negro, but we won't deal with this Negro. This Negro is acceptable.
You mean the same NFL that's got 4 black coaches out of 32 teams?
Yeah.
And the Denver Broncos that fired a coach after 1 year.
Let me finish my point.
I'm sorry, I can't. You're killing me with that, but go ahead on.
I'm sitting here telling you, just listen. I said they trying to divide and conquer us. I understand they don't have a 4. Guess what? They got but one black, probably got one black executive.
Yeah.
I understand that. But I'm talking about the conversations. You can't control that. You know why? Because they don't care about you, Chris Walker.
So if we don't go to, what about our dollars? They care about our dollars?
But you guess what? The NBA made more, but the NBA is still powerful.
NFL.
Excuse me, NFL. They still powerful. You not watching didn't hurt them last year.
Oh, it hurt them a little bit with the Colin Kaepernick thing, with their sponsors. It hurt them a little bit. That was 2 years ago, though. But it hurt them a little bit.
At the beginning of this year, the TV wrote the NFL, I got it right there down, NFL a check for almost, I think almost $300 million. The TV.
I'm talking about ad space. I'm talking about advertising.
The TVs is on the ads. The ads on the TV. And the TV's still paying these guys. So all I'm telling you is, if y'all so upset about, Jimmy, I'm finna pivot here, Jimmy, upset about the NFL's ownership. Ice Cube just gave y'all an example.
Stop.
Why can't we start? I started my own league.
Stop it.
No.
Stop it.
Because the Negro naysayers. Stop it. You go, hold up. You just complain about Massa. And then when somebody give you a solution.
Hey, Chichi, can I ask you a question? Why are there no white players playing in the Big Three?
They have Birdman.
Hey, what? Birdman, who else? Birdman black. Give me another one.
Oh, man, that dude is white, man.
Birdman black. You like Clinton. Birdman black. Give me another one.
He white.
Give me another one.
I mean,
Galabrini, all those white players that play the NBA. You don't have no white players playing in the Big Three. Why not?
But Chris, we need to stop this plantation mentality. That's what they're trying to get us to do. Now y'all fighting with Jay-Z. Y'all done forgot about the owners. That's all. That's the one thing. That's the conversation we need to be having.
You know what they did? Had all 32 dudes sat in the room and be like, yo, man, what guy can we get to get these people so they can stop thinking about their issues and get these dudes off our neck? I know, let's get Jay-Z. That'll stop him. They all buy his music. They made him rich. He's from Brooklyn. He's a drug dealer turned rich, turned billionaire. Let's get him. That'll stop him.
Hey, Jimmy, I got something for you, Jimmy.
Uh-huh.
When the NFL started 100 years ago, okay? 1920.
There you go.
Jim Thorpe. I go back, Chris, to learn something about a wise man told me. To know something about a person, look at their history. So I always go back and look at history. That's all. That's just me. You might not do it. That's just me. I went back and looked. It was started by a group of guys. Jim Thorpe was one of the leaders. Jim Thorpe happened to have been an American Indian. Went to Carlisle University. Jim Thorpe and a group of guys came together and started Think about it. They had a vision. They had a lot of money. It cost $100 to get a team.
$100 was a lot back then.
I understand, but I tell you what, you can account for inflation. I'll let you adjust the inflation to the day, and I bet you Jay-Z got way more money than Jim Thorpe did.
Okay.
Adjust it. Okay, so follow me here. All I'm saying is, those guys 100 years ago, they had a vision. Don't you think it was somebody telling them, man, y'all can't do that. Ain't nobody gonna do that. Ain't nobody gonna do that. That's what I love about Ice Cube. I looked at this documentary other day, Jimmy, and he was talking about how he was somebody was trying to buy the Big Three from him this year for 10 times the amount he paid for it. And I don't know his exact words, Jimmy, but he said, no, I couldn't do it. He said, because of what might happen in the future to this Big Three. I can't do it. My family, I don't want to be on the wrong side of history.
What does he think gonna happen with the Big Three? I'm just curious.
What you think? Wherever you put your money in, you expecting something big to happen. And he put his own capital in there.
So what he's hoping is Kobe Bryant plays one day. That's what he's hoping.
Well,
one of those guys.
Okay, but I'm talking about the man got a vision. Excuse me. What if the man got a 50-year vision or 100-year vision?
Or 3-on-3?
Like Jim Thorpe and them had.
Jim 3-on-3 for old dudes?
I got a question. Do you think Jim Thorpe and his crew thought that for $100, Jimmy, the team's now selling for $2 billion, man? Do you think he thought that?
Do you say 1900 or 1800? $100 and what?
1920.
All right, well, $100 and 1800 is $2 million. Let me see what $100 and 1900. Adam, he's hoping that Kobe Bryant, you know what he's doing? I'm going to tell you what he's doing. He's hoping that dudes like Kobe Bryant, right? Dudes like LeBron James, kind of like golf, where they have the senior PGA, right? I think that's what he's thinking. Shishi, does that sound about right?
I got a question, another question. Shishi, you can chime in at any time. Jimmy, what was the fall of the Negro Leagues? The Negro Leagues had all black owners. Everything was black. But they allowed Jackie Robinson and a few others come in and integrate with the Major League. That killed their old league. I got a question. If Colin Kaepernick had been playing in the Negro Leagues, I'm just a hypothetical. Do you think he would have got ostracized for talking out against people killing black men? Believe you me, I'm on Colin Kaepernick's team.
They all would have been kneeling, though. If he was in the Negro Leagues, they all would have been kneeling.
Okay.
Right?
So all I'm saying is, guys like Jay-Z, he might not have the capital himself because he got a personal wealth of almost a billion. But he got a network. He got a Rolodex. He got banks that were lined up. Jimmy, I got something for you. See, this is what people don't understand. These little young guys that the super producers, the little black super producers in LA, Jimmy, guess what they did? Guess what they did the other day, Chris Walker? They billing in Inglewood, California. You know where everybody trying to come to Inglewood? They billing this $30 million sound studio, music studio, right? But guess what happened? They got corporate America to come in to put their names and their logos like they do on the buildings of the stadiums and give millions and millions of dollars to help fund this thing. But they own it. So if those guys can do that, imagine what Jay-Z can do. Instead of trying to get in this ownership and being a part of this ownership group, this is Robert Half thinking like Jim Thorpe and those guys.
Come on.
Don't you think we got enough guys that Jay-Z can get his own sports league or start it if he wants to? Sports league.
Come on, Hattie. Come on, man.
Excuse me. The man giving you the blueprint Ice Cube, Jimmy.
That's
Hold
old
up,
players.
Jimmy, I'm gonna show you about the Negro naysayers. I told a black person, his name is start with Chris Walker. I said, Jimmy, other night the Big Three had the highest attendance ever. Had 17,000 people pack the American Airlines Arena in Dallas. Guess what? The first thing come out of his mouth. Who was performing?
Right, Jimmy? Right, T.C.? They got to have an artist with them.
Yeah, I mean,
T.I. ain't sold out the Revention Center. How in the heck he can sell out there? T.I.
It's T.I. plus the Big Three. It's T.I. It's a cheap concert
That's been
ticket.
part of their marketing all the time.
So guess what? He sold it out that particular night. It was nothing else going on. No basketball, no football.
Why you had to belittle this?
I'm not, Jimmy.
Yes, you did.
Jimmy, is that belittling because I asked who's performing?
You
Well,
said,
you
said.
that's not belittling. That's more so devalue. You devalue.
All I'm saying is
Jimmy, I bet you if you go look those up in the thesaurus, I bet you they correlate.
Here's the deal. Let me clarify.
I bet you they correlate.
Let me clarify my own words. All I was saying is, wow, that's cool. Who else?
No, you did not say that's cool. No.
Can I finish? Can I finish? My only thought was, hey, they must have had a big name artist to collaborate to get 17,000. There's no way 17,000 people would come see those old men play basketball. Sorry, I'd be shocked. I'd be hard pressed to. And first of all, they only come one time, Hatter. It's not like the NBA. They come one time, so it's an event to see all your old stars. You get to see T.I. perform, maybe 2 songs, maybe 3 songs, and Ice-T do his 1 song. So it's a nice little celebration, and it's a cheap ticket. Remember he was talking. I saw him on Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, Chi. It's a cheap ticket. What it is. Hey, I'm cheering for Ice Cube, but please, Hatter, don't tell me about this new league you're trying to form with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Stop it.
Yeah, I'm trying to perform. I said they have the power, Chris. And Anthony Weston, like I told you, I didn't go to the school of Marcus Garvey. Tell me, Anthony Weston said, don't think, well, I think like Jim Thorpe. Let me tell my story in my context. I'm talking about the NFL, who we're talking about, Anthony Weston. We're talking about the NFL right now. Did Marcus Garvey start the NFL? So stay on task. So back to you, Jimmy. Back to you. And by the way, no, Jimmy, I'm going to get it out. By the way, he asked me a question the other day. He said, we need to get some experts, Anthony Weston, we need to get some experts on the HBCU. I'm not an expert, but I got 5 brothers and 5 sisters. All of them, except me, went to HBCU, except 2 went to HBCUs, either Fisk, Tennessee State, or Lemoyne Owen. And I had a daughter that went to the University of Memphis first, but she came and moved up here, and she finished at TSU, where I had to pay the bill. So guess what? I got hell of experience at an HBU. When you spend your money on something, you better know what you're doing. So that's what I wanted to let you know. But Jimmy, you can take over. Don't stop me today. HBCU. Yeah.
Right.
Not HBU. Now we almost at the top of the hour, guys, and of course I promise you guys I'm going to release the updated class of 2020 Greater Houston rankings. That'll be coming up shortly. But first, we have another topic to dive right into.
Go by the Boom Boom Room, Chi. You ain't go to the Boom Boom Room.
Chris, I popped my collar on now.
Room. Let me go to the Boom Boom. Well, Haller just went with one of the comments, and we'll go to a couple of comments that you guys have mentioned on the topic before we get to the next item on the agenda. And that is, Anthony Forbes says, as long as black brothers are in the NFL, I am watching. And then,
me too, Bob.
And then
70% of them.
Derek Johnson, he says, why didn't the 7 out of 10 players in the league come together and strike? The league is 70% black. you don't think they could have brought those owners to their knees? That's a question that he has for you guys to entertain real quick when we get to the next segment. If 7 of the top 10 black, not these top 7, but 7 of the top 10, if they would have all collaborated together and, you know, followed suit or made a motion, a move to go in a certain direction, would that have brought attention and brought the owners to their knees?
Jimmy, let me ask you a question, Jimmy. If I have this big animus towards the state of Texas that they don't have a shot clock, if 7 of the 10 players at every high school was black, and they say we're not playing until y'all get a shot clock, do you think they would have a shot clock in the state of Texas?
Well, in the high school realms, the power is to a less degree than in college.
Okay, they forfeit games have been forfeited. What do you think will happen?
Well, I don't think. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that would move the needle. Now, if that was to happen, that would be really intriguing. I would be 50-50 on it. But if it was college, that would move the needle. If it was the pros, it would definitely move the needle because the stakes are higher, and the higher up the chain you get, the more influence that the players have versus the coaches for his power.
So if all the black players at all these major universities, Power Fives, Clemson's, the Alabamas, at A&M and Texas, and they say, you know what, we're not playing until you guys change the rules and pay the players. Are you telling me they wouldn't change the rules? You saw what happened in Missouri when the little racial situation happened. They all said they weren't going to play in the bowl game, and they fired the president, the AD, and the coach was on his way out. They changed it by protesting. Hanover got his lip poked out right now, but I'm saying right now.
I'm not, man. I'm just letting y'all talk.
I'm saying right now that something would change, Jimmy. I'm sorry, something would change.
Well, eventually, but there's going to be casualties of war, and that's the thing. Nobody wants to be the casualty. So that's right. That's like anything. Yeah. Nobody wants to be. Everybody considers themselves a pawn or a rook or a bishop in this battle, or never need to say or king or queen. Nobody wants to be a pawn. And if that happened, there would be pawns. That meaning that the NCAA in that scenario would likely go and they would take away the scholarships to try to set an example.
Oh, they got to do it in the middle of the year when they can't do that because they can't replace them. So if they do it in the middle, they got TV money.
But still, it would be damage. It would be damage control because you would get that off your campus. So you would take the scholarships away first. That's what they would do first. So that means now with those guys, now would they still be willing to fight? And if taking that scholarship away, that means that somebody would have to step up and help replace who tried to, meaning that some college, probably an HBCU, would have to come up and say, we got all y'all. All y'all come to us.
That's what I was about to say.
And if that happened, then now you're talking about a real squabble, and the conversation takes different legs in a different form and fashion. But it would have, just like back in the days when they had the freedom movements, when people did not, when they boycotted the bus lines, there were groups of people that got together and that had vehicles, and they would pick up groups of people. That means you had to supplement. You had to be willing to have hands on deck. Somebody had to say, I'm the net. If you fall, I got you. In most of our communities and our culture today, it's not set up the same way. People look at you fall, then they'll come in with a box of Band-Aids and some napkins and say, I got you, come on up. But before, they would help cushion the fall. And that's what the problem is. Everybody knows. And so people will say now, they look behind them, man, if I fall, these dudes don't give a damn about me if I lose my job. Ain't nobody who gonna pay these bills.
Right.
You know? So there you go. There you have it. And a lot of the guys on the boom boom right now, shout out to you guys. Could you take out the time right now to share the show? Share the Chop Shop to your timelines, if you would do so. It's that time of the show when we ask you to simply take out the time to hit the share button, and that way a lot of your viewers, a lot of your friends may be inclined to watch and join the conversation on the Chop Shop. And
Jimmy,
yes, sir.
I think Rick, Mike Timms. I want to shout out to Mr. Timms. I want to shout out to Aaliyah, Coach Leah. Those are the two people who last week went and subscribed on our Facebook page. So guess what? When people start subscribing on our page, like and subscribe on our Facebook, Chop Shop HTX, you talking about, but I'm not worried about the starting five. I'm going to shout them out every time I see it. The next day, I'm going to shout those people out. So thank you, Rick Timms. And I think that I'm going to find the name out in a minute. And Coach Knapp, Coach Leah. Yeah, Coach Leah. Thank you so much. Thank you. When we put out a call, those people responded. Thank you so much.
And also want to give you guys at the top of the show, it's almost time for that starting five. As we prepare for that, want to remind you guys on next weekend, on August the 31st and September the 1st, Ricky Winslow is hosting, has joined with the city of Baytown. That's right outside of Houston, and they're going to have a 3-on-3 tournament. Made me think about it because Chris was saying about talking about 3-on-3. The 3-on-3 tournament would be on September the 1st, right? But on August the 31st, it's going to be a symposium. And the symposium will include a variety of speakers, including Ricky Winslow himself, including John Lucas, Judge Joe Stevens. That sounds really funny. Judge Joe Stevens. And of course, he's a former North Shore High School player who briefly had a stint with the Houston Rockets. Joe Stevens, and he's very, very well respected out in the Baytown and the Galena Park ISD area. And of course, keep going. And I'm on the docket to speak as well. And it's going to be August 31st from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Goose Creek Memorial High School. That's awesome. Goose Creek Memorial High School. The 3-on-3 will take place on September the 1st at the same location. And you can go to rcssports.com. You'll see the flyer on our homepage. Also, you can visit baytown.com. That's it. Go to that website, and there should be info. If you 3-on-3, guess what? Sooner or later in the amateur ranks, it's going to take off.
No way. No way.
The Negro naysayer.
No way. Dude, but I want to know what the symposium is on. What are y'all talking about? What's the symposium?
Well, different people is going to be talking about different things, and so like I say, different things. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a panel or if it's going to be a speakers at a time. I'm thinking it's going to be a panel. That's the way the flyer is looking like. It's going to be everybody's going to probably be on the stage or sitting down and we'll address a lot of issues in the communities as well as the recruiting aspect to help inform the student athletes and their relatives. That's what I'm thinking is going to be. I get more, and we're expected to be joined on tomorrow by Ricky Winslow and one of the city council persons in Baytown, and that's Charles Johnson on tomorrow. So check it out, and we might just, we might go back in the studio tomorrow since you guys are wondering where the hell why we just love it. Guess what? Wouldn't you like to work from home? Hell, so why you ask us that? I mean, so this is easy, but we might have to go back and get back in the studio tomorrow at the Power 101.5 FM in order to have this conversation with Ricky Winslow. Then
it is nice, Jim. It is nice.
Absolutely.
It is nice to sit back, Jim. Hey, but Jimmy, I got one more. That's great. We're gonna talk about that some more because that's gonna be a great event, and not just the Goose Creek area. I want the whole greater Houston area to let's come and support that event. But Jimmy, I just looked at our notifications on YouTube. Ryan Moore yesterday. Ryan Moore subscribed to our YouTube site. So shout out to Ryan Moore and his family. And I'm going to give all of them shout outs every time. But I just wanted to let you know, thank you, Ryan Moore. So where we go from where we got, Chris?
I'm mad you called me I'm mad you called me a Negro naysayer, man. You gotta stop that, man. I'm an innovator.
Well, every time we talk about something that happens to do with African Americans, Robert, you know what? You probably would have told Moses, I don't think you should put 2 of them animals on the ship, but God told me to. I don't know, Moses.
That's the wrong Christian, man. That's the wrong Christian.
I don't know, Moses. You would have counted. You would have counted when they leaving the plantation, Jimmy. No, the master boy, he's a good master. I'm not leaving this plantation. So
now you know. Hey Jimmy, hey Chichi, you know if you was watching Django, what that thing up there doing on that mare? What they call it? What else?
On that nag.
That ain't Chichi. That's Hannah. That's Hannah.
Hey guys, you know what time it is now, guys? It's time for the starting 5. And of course, I throw it up in the air for you. The starting 5. And of course, today's starting 5 is the first 5 viewers who logged on to the Facebook page in our Boom Boom Room. Want to give a shout out to you guys. And as we always do, in today's starting 5, who do you have, Hannah?
No, you beat me today, Jimmy.
Okay, well, I'll go through today. I have Todd Holmes.
Okay.
Melvin Dews.
Okay.
Derek Johnson.
Okay.
Daryl Anderson.
Okay.
And Odyssey Williams round off our starting 5.
Let me throw some more guys, because Cambridge Gidry joined in. Corey Willis joined in. Derek Johnson joined in. Anthony Farr, my second favorite third favorite high school coach, he joined in. So guess what? And who else? Then I got Daryl Anderson. So yes, we got some. We're there. But them our guys. But don't forget, starting 5. Y'all, if y'all have not subscribe to our Facebook, our YouTube page, the starting 5 need to go over there and do that right now. Just go to your other computer. Now back to you, Jim.
And of course, now the next time, if you just tune into the Chop Shop, guys, thanks for joining us on this Monday. And make sure you share the show if you haven't done so. And if you're expecting and want the updates and wondering if we've already released the updated fall rankings for the class of 2020. No, I haven't done so. Matter of fact, I am doing it right now. I'm going to activate it for you guys. And I guess time we get off the air, you guys will be able to see the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the top 50. So we're going to do 50 for the class of 2020. And
50?
they are now 50.
50? Jimmy, hell no. You in 50?
I did 50.
No.
You ain't seen 50 players. What you talking about?
No.
I've seen 50 seniors.
You saw 30. You saw 37. You saw 37 of them.
Jimmy, I don't mind, but you can't make a comment for 50 players. You got to go 50 down. We're about an hour trying to do 50 players. Come on, let's go.
50?
No.
No, he said releasing 50.
Yeah, I released 50.
Who was the top 5? Who was the top 5? Jimmy, I know one thing. I know one thing. In a certain class, if you don't rank the right guy, he's gonna blow RCF Sports up. You already know that with Hatter. You know what class that is. You know what player that is.
I can't stand him, man.
Well, guess what? You see, here's the thing about rankings, me doing them now as opposed to before. Before, I've always cared a lot.
No, you did.
A whole lot.
Jimmy, you're lying, and the truth ain't that yet.
Jimmy, come on,
no, I was lying back then. I cared a whole lot back then. I was lying back then.
Oh, okay.
I cared a whole lot back then.
Okay.
Now,
so you told me
I don't give a
blank.
I'm gonna say it. I don't give a shit. So that's the difference. It's a big difference. When you don't care, you free. Ask Dwight Howard. but you ask who the top 5 is. And here's my top 5 right now. And at number 5, I have Kenneth Lofton Jr.
Ooh. Wait, did we get any after we talked last week?
Huh?
Did anything happen after we had our conversations about him last week?
About what?
About Kenny
No, I
Lofton
gave you
Jr.?
an update. No,
Oh,
I gave you the update on it.
so there's nothing new?
I had to give me a
No,
sip.
what would you expect new?
I mean, I got some other information Hatter gave me and I shared. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I mean,
Anyway,
that's new. I gave you his
Hatter.
visits, and his visits, he has 4 visits set up and no official visit to Georgetown. He took an unofficial to Georgetown to visit his brother, right? His brother lives in D.C. and Wilmington.
Gotcha.
So
All right.
he took an unofficial. So therefore, that kind of gave Georgetown an out, and it gave them an out to not have a necessity to not. In Georgetown, remember they went to Bahamas, so they're out of the country, right, for a week or two. So that means it wasn't a necessity to go and have an official visit with Georgetown when you just went. And you know, Chris, you're a career college coach. There's a way to do an unofficial in the same capacity as an official visit, right?
That's to a degree, yes.
Okay, to what degree would you be able to work it out?
You can go to all the same restaurants, especially if they're in a certain radius of the school, and the parents just have to pay for everything. That's all. So you can make it look like an official visit. You just can't spend anything on them. That's all it is. But if they got some, the parents have their own resources. You can make it seem just like an unofficial. I mean, make it like an official visit.
If the parents have their own resources.
Yeah, Georgetown's a nice area, so there's a whole lot of good stuff to do around Georgetown, DuPont Circle. All that stuff is right there. So, D.C. is really good in that area when it comes to that. And Georgetown's very, very, very nice area of D.C. So, I mean, that's not hard to make that thing look really, really good.
And when, of course, now just tuning in, I just gave you guys number 5 on the Greater Houston updated class of 2020 rankings. Number 4.
Wait, Jimmy,
I
I'm
have
sorry.
Jahari Long.
Jimmy, I got up and went and got me some water. Who was number 5? Was Ken Lofton?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Number 4 is Jahari Long from Episcopal High School, and he's committed to Seton Hall University. So Jahari Long, he plays.
Is he from the East Coast? Is he from the East Coast? He got roots in the East Coast or something?
No.
So why is he going to Seton Hall?
Well, it's in connection with his summer basketball coach and one of the coaches on the staff. Have a relationship, at Seton Hall. So that's kind of like relationships. So if you trust in somebody and they say, I trust this guy, he's good people, and you go and you like it, and he had a chance to visit.
Is that the guy from Louisiana Tech, the Tony Skin that was there?
I'm not sure.
It was a guy used to be at Louisiana Tech. Now he's at Seton Hall.
I'm not sure. It's in my cell phone. I have to go and check.
All right, no problem. My bad. Go to
number 3. I have Eddie Lampkin at number 3, Martin Ranch High School. Eddie Lampkin is undecided right now, and really, Eddie is Eddie had a good summer with the Under Armour circuit.
Yeah,
he just 2 weeks ago he was MVP or co-MVP of the Steph Curry camp.
Yeah,
and that means something but the thing is that they didn't. Under Armour should have done more to saturate the world on what they were doing with the Steph Curry camp to make it where you couldn't ignore it.
Jimmy,
you couldn't ignore what was going on.
Don't nobody even think about Steph Curry Under Armour shoes. So that's why it's not that. Don't nobody think about that.
Stop doing a Nike commercial, Adam. Stop doing a Nike commercial.
But
of
at
course
the
I'm
same
going to do a
time,
Nike
it's
commercial.
still,
Nike's a sponsor of the show.
It's still a Steph Curry. It's still the SC30 camp. It's Steph Curry camp. People don't look at that camp as an Under Armour camp. Foremost, they look at it as Steph Curry camp. That's what they call it. So so therefore, Steph, he was MVP. That meant that was the top players from the Under Armour circuit.
Steph don't have that cachet in basketball, grassroots wise. I don't think it. I mean, I like Steph, but I'm not going. You got to understand, he's my favorite player. But I'm never going to put on no Under Armour tennis shoes.
Well, that's not what it's about.
It's not about the tennis shoe. You thinking about why you keep saying the tennis? You keep bringing up the tennis shoe. It's not about the tennis shoe.
Excuse me.
Do a Nike commercial.
The SC3s or whatever. The SC3. All I'm telling you is that's that. Wait a minute. Okay. Reason I'm talking about sneakers. Didn't they get them guys free sneakers when they went out there?
Yeah. course they
Okay.
did.
So everything's got when you're talking about sneaker companies, you got to talk about sneakers. Jimmy, what the hell are you talking about?
I said the camp. When you think of that camp, the first thing, do you think that camp? Do you think the first thing you think about that those kids are thinking about is the opportunity to meet Steph Curry or to go and get a bag of Under Armour gear? They're thinking about the opportunity to go meet Steph Curry.
But you talking about the general public. You said, why wasn't it so publicized? It's not publicized because ain't nobody thinking about that brand right now.
But they think about Steph Curry, though. How it's not
about Steph. Exactly.
Steph Curry.
We just talked about how you just bragged about Steph Curry giving money to Howard for a golf team, and you're saying that kids don't want to meet Steph Curry?
I value that. I've
Top
never
five player
heard
in the
a
league.
young kid. I've never heard a young kid tell me, Hatter, I got to give me some of them Steph Currys.
Wait, but you saying something different. You saying something different what Jimmy's saying.
But when I'm talking about the pop, Jimmy, what Jimmy, I thought you said, why didn't this event have enough pop? Ain't that what you're saying? This event wasn't that publicized. It didn't have enough pop, and that's what you were saying.
But for the Steph Curry, not necessarily about the shoes or the brand Under Armour. I'm talking about Steph Curry, the person. Those young men got a chance to spend intimate time in the basketball setting with Steph Curry. And so I'm saying, so that means I just said if Eddie Lampkin was co-MVP, right?
Yeah.
Was co-MVP. If the thing is, Eddie Lampkin isn't right now in a likelihood of making the McDonald's All-American game. He's not in the likelihood of a one and done. If that person who made co-MVP was probably a one and done or for sure top 5 player in the country, they probably would have circulated and would have impressed it out there and then pounded into your mind. Well, this is Eddie Lampkin. So therefore it didn't get the traction that was needed.
Hold on now. You just said something. Now you just said something that helps my argument. So Under Armour got an event, okay, where Eddie Lampkin was the co-MVP. So he wasn't a one and done. So could it be said they didn't have no one and done? They didn't have no top players? Or they didn't have, where were the top players? Why didn't it one? Because I don't know who was at the camp. Y'all got to understand, I don't know. Nobody was at the camp.
Hannah, that's a form of devaluing now. We're not trying to devalue, because now that means the only way.
I'm asking a question. You just said, I'm not devaluing it. You just said that you gave me information that I didn't have. You said that he's not going to be a McDonald's American. You said he's not. You devalued him. He's not going to be a one and done. All I'm doing is saying what you just said.
No, that's not the same thing what you just said. What I just said, you just posed a question for me to say, Hannah, all the top players at the Nike, that's where they are. And you would say, yeah.
No.
That's what you asked. That's a setup question.
But you asked why wasn't it? You said it wasn't enough fees. It wasn't Eddie won it, but they didn't.
Now, Hannah, what he said was if Eddie Lampkin was one of the top 5 players in the country, and he was a co-MVP at the Steph Curry camp, it would have been a much bigger story.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what he said.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all. That's serious.
And just what I just said, it matters too. But keep going.
So now with that, so you guys understand the whole point of this. I'm trying to go from 5 to 1, and I can't even get taking me 15 years to get from 5 to 1.
That's why they want you to do 50. Duh.
Negro, I wasn't trying to do 50. You don't listen a lot. I say I release.
Jimmy, what you don't understand.
At the time when I said I didn't super take y'all to 50.
Jimmy, let me explain to you something. Your screen freezes up every now and then on the screen. Just letting you know that. your screen freezes up just like it just did a minute. I got you. I'm gonna Photoshop it and send it to you. You froze on my screen. So that's probably why I didn't hear it.
He don't listen, Jimmy. He don't listen, Jimmy. Go on do the other two. We know how to. He don't listen.
It'll come one day. One day he'll really listen. And at that point, nobody
Wait
wants
till I
to tell
see
him
you the
nothing.
screenshot. This how you on the screen, Jimmy. You like this on the screen, froze.
Y'all stupid.
But that means, understand, you heard the word 50. So
I heard
you
50,
took it,
yeah.
you ran
heard
with
50.
50. I said
Let's
I had just released the top 50.
Okay.
I had just released them 15 minutes ago on RCS Sports. They're published right there. So one of those screens you got, go click on RCS Sports, look on the rankings, click on 2020, and you guys can follow along. I didn't go and hit that hard because if I did, a lot of people would have left the Chop Shop and went to go looking at the rankings. So that's why I didn't tell everybody to go and click on.
Okay. I'm following you. But you
got
understand. You freeze up on the screen every now and then. So give us number 3. Give us number 3.
You already gave us number 2.
I just gave you number 3.
Oh, listen, Hatter. Oh, listen, Hatter. It's Eddie Lampkin.
I'm telling you.
Eddie Lampkin.
Oh, give me number 2 then. Give me number
There
2.
you go.
Number two in the updated ranking is Tremont Mark from Dickinson High School. He's committed to the University of Houston. And that number 1 is, and Tremont Mark, he had an exceptional summer playing with the Houston Hoops, and it really helped his stock. It helped validate him, and then also he went to the Tremont got invited and went to NBPA Top 100 camp, where on his team he got a chance to. He was playing alongside Vernon Maxwell's son, and the team didn't fare that well, but for Tremont, it got a chance to show the University of Houston coaches that what he could do if needed him to play the 1. And so, but Tremont, for the most part, he had a great summer.
Yes.
I look at him, and now in this city, you look at him now, he's grown about another inch. He's a legit 6'4.5" right about now. That mid-range game, he gets right up under that free throw line. He can let go of that shot. And another thing that I like about Tremont that I noticed this summer that he didn't do a year ago, he's actually using the right hand now. He's a lefty, but he can finish at the rim with the right hand, which is very important. Moving along. Now,
Y'all know what's funny? Before you reach that number 1, you know what's funny talking about Tremont? Obviously, Tremont played for my summer team. I had him as an 8th grade, and I played him up on 7 teams. People probably don't remember that. He played against Trayvon Duval and guys like that back in the day.
I was just about to say that, Chris.
Right,
Jimmy
right.
kept talking. I was just about to say.
But Jimmy, he rewarded him. He giving him his flowers, right, Jimmy?
Okay.
But here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. I remember when they played that little ball beating team that Tremont played on? When they had that really good team, Jimmy, when they was like in the 7th grade. I think they was in 6th grade or whatever. I think they played for Marlon Lowe. I want to say it was Team Houston Old School. What was the team that Tremont played for? If his daddy was watching, I wish he could tell us. They had a little team. I used to give them gear. I used to get a little team gear, and they had oh my God, Slim Thug's son was a big boy. Jimmy, remember? Slim Thug's son was the center on that team.
Yeah. Who's son from down in the Beaumont area. Yeah.
Slim Thug was the center. The funny thing is, they were one of the top teams when they were I want to say 6th grade or something. Name one of those players. I would love to see the track of those kids, other than Tremont, because all them parents thought they all was good. Other than Tremont, Jimmy, who else is ranked in your top 50 that was on that little team? I remember.
God first.
I got to get the roster of the team.
Was the team called God First?
It was Mike LeBlanc's team. That's right.
That's God First.
It was God First. It was God First.
People are talking about it. But Chris, the first time I ever heard about Tremont, you bragged about him to me. That's what I wanted to tell you. And then I was just so proud of him. I got a chance to go to Peach Jam this year, and I watched him, and I never forget. And when I know he kind of was cooking, when Penny was sitting next to me, he said, "Who is that?" He asked about him twice. I said, "You too late. He gone to U of A." He said, "Oh, I got to deal with him." I said, "Yep, you got to deal with him." So that's my Tramon Mark story. But thank you, Chris, for you recognized him a long time ago. Great job.
I mean, and of course that brings us to number one, and the number one player we have L.J. Cryer from Martin Ranch High School. He's committed to Baylor. He missed the majority of the summer, and I wrestled with number one spot, and I thought about it. I said, well, the Houston Hoops and Tramon Mark played an integral part in them advancing to Peace Jam, but when they got there, L.J. Cryer played first game. He started with a splash, and they made it to the Final Four of Peace Jam, and the Houston Hoops did. And so I said, you know what, L.J. Cryer, I call it in dice getting saved by the ball. He did enough to show that he still had it. And he was rusty at Peace Jam, but at the same time, by him coming to play. If he had not have played at all, then L.J. Cryer would not have been in his number one slot. So, but I also think he was that far ahead of the rest of the pack before the summer. So
he's a pro. So you saying he a pro?
No. Not saying he's a pro. No, not right now.
Yeah, he was that far ahead of the pack. I'm like, dang.
He was that far ahead of his pack in Houston, in Greater Houston. He was that far ahead. So as they closed the gap, it definitely.
So he's that far ahead of Jahari Long going to Seton Hall. Eddie, hold on, let me say this. So he's that far ahead of Jahari Long going to Seton Hall. Eddie Lampkin, who was in co-MVP of the Steph Curry camp, and Tramon Mark, who's a high-level player going to Houston. He was that far ahead of all those guys? Come on, man. Hannah, that sound crazy? Am I just crazy?
Don't sound crazy. Matter of fact, I totally agree with it.
Because I'm gonna call you out, Hannah, in a second. You better sit there and be quiet like a straight mouth.
Let me explain something to you. And here's the thing: a lot of people, you gotta have in this stuff, you gotta have facts to go on at some point. But it's all an opinion at the end of the day. But you hope that the person that's making the opinion has some facts, along with some backbone to go on. And here's what I have. The last time that L.J. Cryer had played in Houston was during the spring icebreaker. In the spring icebreaker, everybody was fresh. This was the first event of the circuit.
Okay.
And he came out there and he dominated.
Okay.
Understand, he didn't play, for what he played, understand, whatever he played against, those other teammates had to play against the same players, meaning that from Tramon Mark and the rest of the guys from the Houston Hoops on that program. But LJ was very impressive at the spring icebreaker. So then you followed along. He started and he ended with a pretty good note.
Jimmy, can I add something to I want to add a caveat to what you just said. I sit there next to John Stovall. And we just sitting there talking. He said by far, every time L.J. Cryer was on the floor, he was the best player in the gym. Now that came from John Stovall of Nike, Nike basketball and ESPN rankings.
Did L.J. Cryer play in the LBP NBA Players Camp?
He was hurt.
So he didn't play.
He was injured.
He got invited. He did not play.
Oh, guys, I didn't ask you. Did he get an invite?
Let Jimmy finish his story first.
I said, did he play?
No, he's hurt.
No.
So when he plays against other kids, Houston, did he play in the Peace Jam?
Yes.
Because I got his analytics. He didn't do that well. The Peace Jam.
He played in Peace Jam.
He did not do well.
Well, I watched the
event totals.
I watched every game.
Did he play well?
You watched the analytics. I watched every game.
Well? Did he play well?
What?
Did he play well?
In his first game out, based on the circumstances, his first game out, he had like a 20 in his first game. Then he leveled out after that.
Chris, I'm just going Chris. I know you ain't seen him enough.
I used to recruit him. I'm just trying to validate it. I'm making y'all validate it.
Deal, baby. I'm just telling you. He would tie your little ass up. I bet you that. In your prime.
Relax.
In your prime, he was
I
a
know
better player than you.
I know you got a dog in the fight, but relax for a second.
No.
Okay.
Well,
Because I play.
it sounds like both of you guys have a dog in the fight, and I'm
No,
now
I don't have-
realizing that what it sounds like. And now that's what it
I got the
sounds
top
like.
dog,
And-
though.
and-
I got the top dog.
And guess what?
Huh.
And guess what? So understand. So in all fairness, I even wrestled with the thought of making 4 number ones right now.
Why you gotta do
I
4?
even
Just
wrestled
do
with
2. Just do 2.
no, I'm talking no, because all of those guys, remember now, think about it like this. If your kid had led, we mentioned Eddie Lampkin a while ago, and if your kid had led the Under Armour in rebounding, or one of the top rebounders in Under Armour, then proceeds to go and get co-MVP of the it's what is known as the All-Star camp, because they take the top players from the Under Armour and go to that camp. And they had a couple of players like Big Chet, the white kid who played on the Nike, who played on the circuit, right? Well, now Chet was at Elite 100. I'm sorry. So, but anyway, he goes and he gets MVP, co-MVP there. That could be a case because they all went to every one of those other kids except for Lofton got invited to NBPA Top 100 camp. They all got invited there, right?
Yes, sir.
And nobody moved the needle.
But one didn't play.
At Top 100 camp.
One didn't.
Yeah,
Huh?
L didn't play.
LJ Crowder didn't play.
I said all of them got invited.
Right.
That's what I said.
That's
So that's what my word. Now, and I say none of them moved the needle.
Well, what I'm saying is
Think
you're saying
about
move the needle, but the one that you made number 1 could have played terribly and lost ground. So he didn't have to
But he
worry about moving the needle. He didn't play. He was hurt. What if he went there and played bad?
Helen, and Chris, understand what I just said a while ago. He played in the spring icebreaker.
No, forget that.
I'm
You're talking about
valuing the spring. I'm
over
valuing that.
the NBA players cap?
Yeah.
Come on now. Hold
So
on.
if the other do you go look at your analytics from NBPA Top 100 camp?
Okay.
Who moved? If nobody else moved the needle, that's an indirect way of saying they stunk. They played bad.
No.
Most of y'all
I'll post them if you want me to. I'll post them.
understand something.
I'll post the names.
Understand one thing. No, understand one thing. If you're on the worst team, if your team plays 7 games and they have the worst record at the camp, listen now, and you play, and then your team only has 7 to 8 players. If everybody else, listen now, if everybody else has 10 to 12, 10, 11 players, but your team has 7 or 8, don't know what that means? That means that the numbers are going to be skewed in your favor because your minutes per game is going to be more. Your shots is going to be more. Your numbers are going to be greater.
Hold up, that sounds crazy. That's saying like, well, Trae Young not a good player because he played for the Hawks. He's still a good player.
No,
but Jimmy,
that's not the same thing. No,
Jimmy,
that's not the same thing.
Here's the other thing. I'm not trying to make a case for Tremont Mark, but he did play with Hatter's homeboy who get thrown out of high school games, who's a flat out gunner, and we know can't really play. Hatter, you know what I'm talking about? Who am I talking about, Hatter?
I don't know. I'm just sipping my tea, letting y'all talk.
I'm talking about Vernon Maxwell Jr. You know exactly who I'm talking about, Hatter. G-Sheet, though. G-Sheet, I'm not making a case for Tremont Mark, or I'm not tearing down LJ Cryer. All I'm trying to get you guys to do.
Yes, you are.
Hear me out. All I'm trying to get you to do, if there's anybody that does have an issue with Tremont being 2 and LJ being 1 or whatever, I'm getting to you for you to explain why. So now people can understand why you made that choice. That's all I'm doing. So it may sound like I'm trying to help Tremont, but I'm not. I'm trying to say, look, man, he didn't play in the NBA Players Camp. But Eddie Lampkin, just like you said, Eddie Lampkin was this and that. But you still think LJ Cryer was better because other than the spring icebreaker, Jimmy, you have not mentioned anything on the EYBL and you have not mentioned anything Peace Jam wise about LJ Cryer. You have only said the spring icebreaker.
That's not true. That's not true. I said his first game at Peace Jam, he had a 20.
Yeah.
That's one game. They play 16 games in EYBL.
No, he didn't.
No,
Dude, he didn't
Peace
play
Jam,
until
man.
Peace Jam.
He didn't
I
He
play.
didn't
understand.
play in Peace Jam.
Get you, Jimmy. I'm just saying, like, but if I was on the other side, forget about Tremont, even the other people. With Jimmy, he played a spring icebreaker and one game, and you got him number one. That's what I'm saying. Make them understand that.
No,
So-
I'm
so
finna make you
Chris,
understand something, Chris. I'm sitting there laughing because you did. First of all, get you some tissue and blow your.
I know, right?
Because it showed up on my screen.
My bad.
But what I think that's a great thing you're trying to do with Jimmy. You just trying to get Jimmy. But Chris, when do you come and penalize a player for becoming injured? Tell me that dynamic. And hold up, and I got one more. Because the college coaches I was sitting by, you know, maybe you out of your college coaching realm for a little too long. They were saying that kid been out for 3.5 months and he playing that way. Wow. I'd hate to see, hold on. I'd hate to see if he was not injured.
Or maybe was he really injured?
Oh man, stop. Really?
I'm just
Come on,
asking.
now.
Man, come on.
I'm just asking the question.
He
Was he really? Was he that injured?
Chris, since you go there, he had a grade 3 sprain on
I
his
don't know what
ankle.
that means. I don't know what that means.
Okay,
I don't know
well
what that
then
means.
go look. You've been a college coach for all
I don't know
these
what that
years.
means.
That tell me you didn't care nothing about your players. Jimmy, finish up, Jimmy. Finish up, Jimmy.
I can't believe
Come
that.
on, he's a
Really?
hater, Jimmy.
Hey, let me ask you, hey, Jimmy, let me ask you a question. If a player's a really good player, let's say Tom Brady get hurt after 4 games, don't play again until week 16, and he played great week 16, week 17, are they going to make him the MVP? Hell no. He played great week 1 through 4. Look at Hatter. Look at Hatter. Hold them arms, Hatter. He played great week 1 through 4, and he don't play anymore because he got hurt. Let me finish.
This kid was
Can I make my point? Can I make my point?
already ranked number 1.
Can I
Tom
make my
Brady is not ranked
Can I-
number 1. That's a different analogy. That's why
Can
I'm trying to cut it off.
Can I make my
That
point?
analogy don't work.
All right, well, let me make my point still. Patrick Mahomes, the MVP, ranked number 1 quarterback. He plays games 1 through 4. He doesn't play again and he plays amazing. And he'll play again to week 16. Plays great week 16, week 17. Is he the MVP of the league? Yes or no, Hatter? No, he's not. So yes, you get penalized for being hurt. Yes, you do.
I'll let you go with that mess, okay?
All right, well, that's the
All
truth.
I'm telling
Am
you
I
is
lying?
Jimmy taught me some long time about them rankings. Somebody didn't nobody knock him off the top. They were
feel
just,
you, bro.
they were good, but you got to be great to knock the guy off the top.
I'm gonna leave it there, man. You didn't answer my question.
I don't
I
know
didn't-
if that's a bad analogy.
How is that a bad analogy? Just answer it first. Even though it's a bad one, won't you answer it for me?
That's a terrible one.
Jimmy, you answer for me then, Jimmy. Is he gonna be the MVP? No,
The
he will not.
MVP, we're not talking MVP. We're not talking
about
MVP.
MVP right now. We're talking
We're not
about
talking MVP.
ranking. Hold up. Jimmy,
You're talking about
I
someone
got it,
getting
Jimmy.
penalized for the
Jimmy,
hurt.
I got it for you, Jimmy.
Because I know another guy that y'all protected. I know another guy y'all protected a couple years ago, and look how it ended up for him. And I'm gonna leave that alone, Jimmy.
Chris, hold on.
Leave that alone. Y'all protected him.
Chris, that man right there he's an expert at that. You're not in no expert at ranking.
Oh, he's an expert at protecting players?
Coach.
He's an expert at protecting players? Jimmy, you know what I'm talking about.
Expert of rankings. I've never seen the Chris Walker rankings out where you accepted scrutiny and innuendos and get hate for years and years. That man put his name and reputation on the line every single year. Hold on. And took the heat and just came on there and said, nigga, I was lying back then. That shit used to hurt. But now, so guess what? Listen. He got a science to this stuff, man.
I got you.
You talking like a daddy.
Why can't I ask a question? Why can't I ask? So just because he said something, I can't answer a question?
No, you can't.
So all I'm saying is he had another player that was in a witness protection program a couple years ago. Jimmy not gonna say his name. He went to the school in the Midwest, and look what happened. Protection. And now look where we at. Back at home again. You know who it is.
He back at home now. He just Hold up. He just went overseas and led his team overseas in scoring. That same guy you talking about?
So
Oh yeah, I remember that dude. You right about that.
Okay.
Yeah,
let me what you've done right now is that you have set the table for
What? For what?
obviously there are people out there that don't have understanding. So
There you
allow
go.
me to help you and further help you understand something. And this is why, remember, I told you I'm in a different space right now.
You don't care.
And the
That's right.
space I'm in right now, no, the space I'm in is this. And a lot of things factor into, especially in the 12th grade, as opposed to 10th, 11th, or 9th grade when you're doing these type of lists. Number one, if ESPN is about to update their rankings today, right? So if going into these rankings, I don't know if they're gonna release them probably tomorrow, or if they released them already. I know they're supposed to release them, and speaking with them over the weekend. Here's the thing: if I want to devalue, if a young man is ranked in the top 50s out of Houston, in the top 100 in the country, and if I was to go and put a guy immediately over him in the local plane, that means I'm indirectly saying, hey guys, nationally, y'all messed up. That guy doesn't need to be 50. This guy is way better than him. So that means either you got to drop him or you got to put this guy, you should put this guy ahead of him. Most likely ESPN will drop the guy that you don't have number one if they respect your area rankings. If they respect you. Over the years, I feel pretty confident that I have a certain level, high level of respect from the guys in the ESPN recruiting department who help comprise the rankings. Well, so that factored in to LJ Cryer. If I drop LJ Cryer, then it okays ESPN to drop him in the country. I got to leave him there at least through Rucker on Wood. Remember I said the purpose of doing these rankings right now was because I need to put them out there so that way everybody would know what they got to do at Rucker on Wood. If you choose not to come and you choose not to play, guess what? If you choose not to come and the next guy does come and he comes there and he shows out, then guess what? You got to be accountable for your decision.
So if LJ Cryer is hurt, and he doesn't come to Rucker on Wood, and someone plays good, you're gonna drop him?
If LJ Cryer is indeed still injured or hurt or unable to perform, he needs to come there and at least coach a damn team.
What?
That's what you do. You need to come there and take part. Chris, what the hell are you talking about? You can't punish a kid for being hurt in the 12th grade.
Just said you
12th grade. Listen, man.
I'm just going off what you said.
No, I didn't say that. I say in the 9th, in the 10th, and 11th grade, I'll punish your ass for being hurt. But in the 12th grade, no. Not in the 12th grade.
Hold on, you punish him for being hurt.
I would drop you like a hot ass potato, or I would not put you on the list altogether. I got several proofs, undocumented proof on my rankings that I've not ranked kids in the past when I was doing the rankings because they did not play from one period to the next because I call it incomplete. You don't even deserve to be on the list.
So if a kid plays, hold on, let me get something right. So if a kid plays every damn year and he says, you know what, I'm not gonna go to the Rucker on Wood this year, I'm gonna have a family vacation. You gonna penalize him?
Why? I'm not penalizing. No, I didn't do. You're gonna reward the next guy. That's like in NASCAR. If you're riding around the track and you decide to stop and get some gas for a pit stop, go and get a pit stop. The other cars are gonna keep rolling. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, the other guy's got to pit too at some
guess
point.
What?
The other guy's got to pit too at some point.
But guess what? Guess what? It's the opinion and it's the house rule. This ain't just started. I have the longest lasting ranking service for a black man in the United States of America than anybody. Remember that. Nobody has been ranking kids longer than I have in a single city. No, I'm not just scratch your head on that shit. Nobody has more experience in a single city as ranking kids. Remember, we've been ranking them for 19 straight years. I'm gonna ask you a question right
I
now.
thought Alan Branch was going longer than you.
Now, Alan Branch wasn't ranking for 19 years. Remember, Alan Branch wasn't doing it then.
Hey man,
Alan Branch's son played. He was coaching for John Urie back then when I started. Matter of fact, Alan Branch's son was in middle school when I started.
I'm just messing with you. Okay.
So understand. This is not the. Understand once again. This list will be updated
Not that
after
top five.
Labor Day.
Not the top 5.
What do you
Not the
mean?
So you're gonna leave 2 to 4 and
I
4 to
can't-
3?
I can't say it won't. What if number 6? If number 6 comes and shows up and shows out at Ruck on Wood, he don't go to number 5?
I know one thing. 2
You gotta
can't go to
reward
1.
him.
2 can't go to 1. That's all I know. 2 can't go to 1 and 3 can't.
No, I'm saying it's probably not the 6. Probably not gonna go to 1. No, but he can get moved up, and that's the whole point. So this list is going to be to let people know. Guess what? Remember, my whole 2019 campaign has been based around one word: accountability. And and you guys know that. How ain't that right? You know that. Accountability has been my thing.
Hatter got, hey, listen, Hatter got his favorites. Don't ask Hatter. He got favorites. Don't ask Hatter. He got favorites. Don't ask him.
Be
accountable.
Be accountable for your action.
But
If
Chris,
you make a decision, just be accountable for it.
and
That's
Jim,
all.
And Jim,
You
I got to help Chris with
you
this.
can't gangster people, man.
Chris,
You can't gangster people.
Chris, at least my favorites, boy, they pretty doggone good. The favorites I got. Hey, I tell you what, I'm not sitting up here talking about Little Johnny. Little Johnny, my friend, and I love Little Johnny. But guess what? Them favorites you talking about? Yeah, them guys got it going on, man. Them guys.
Anyway, so I want to get back again. People need to hear how he does his rankings. It's good for them to hear that though, because a lot of people don't know what goes into it.
Hey, B. Scott asked a question. Jim.
Most don't.
B. Scott asked a question, Jimbo, and I'm trying
What do
to
you say?
find it. And you know, they come. She said, "What if I don't get an invite to Ruck on the Wood?
Ain't go.
There's nothing in my email yet."
But the invites for Ruck on Wood just supposed to go out according to Doug Jones today, Monday.
Okay.
So it's supposed to go out Monday. They start going out Monday.
But Jimmy, you didn't ask the question. What if they don't get an invite?
If they don't get an invite,
Yeah.
then that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. You don't
Say
get
it
an
again, Chris.
invite.
I was reading. I'm sorry.
I thought you said, what if I don't get an invite?
Yeah, she said, "What if she didn't get an invite?"
Yeah.
That
To
means
Ruck on Wood. What does that mean? Yes.
I mean, that means it's not good. I mean, but I haven't checked. Like I say,
But
I
B.
don't.
Scott's son is going.
Just-
Hey, Chris, why your head is halfway?
Because
No,
listen,
no.
man. What?
The people can't see but your eyes, man. Something wrong with you.
I'm not feeling good today, man. That's why I'm covering my eyes up. My eyes are red.
Okay.
I'm not feeling good.
So now also Stacy Houston has a question
What's
on
Stacey
the
say?
Facebook in the Boom Boom Room. Stacy says, "What are the requirements of being the #1 player in Houston? Summer
Ooh.
basketball in high school this season, or is it just summer for this ranking?"
Uh-oh.
And that's that question. I think I may have answered it proportionately a while ago, and that is these rankings right here. Remember now, on the webs on RCS Sports, those rankings had not been updated since the spring icebreaker, and we're supposed to update them in the summer, at the end of April or in June, at least once during the summer. We hadn't done so. So what I did was, because it wasn't in shape of doing them, because Doug Jones does the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th grade. I normally take the rims once the school starts, and I update the 12th grade rankings, which normally would be in the magazine, because I would have time to refresh my pencil again on a lot of the kids who I didn't see on the sneaker circuits. If you guys know, most of the kids I've seen this summer, most of them were on sneaker teams. I went to Dallas and saw the Adidas. I saw Under Armour on the road. I saw 3 different Nike ones. And
There you go.
I saw very until until the GMI. And then I watched some more over the last couple of weeks at different events. And the Southwest Exposure Camp was another opportunity that gave me to watch a lot of the young men. That Southwest Exposure Camp, it had a lot of weight for a lot of young men that are on their list right now. But we're talking in the top 5 and top 10. So Stacy, the answer to the question is it's a running tab that picks up it goes from one point to the next. I put very little I would say trajectory. Very little. That's not what I do, is the trajectory. So I think I give an analogy like I do from time to time, and that is like a school teacher. When you go into class, a teacher ain't going to give you an A because they think you're going to be an engineer tomorrow. They give you a grade based on what you did from the previous 6 weeks or the previous 9 weeks, and that's on your report card. So that's kind of like the ideology that I take into doing a list. So that's why I firmly believe, and that's why I also mentioned this list with these 12th graders. I do know they're going to be updated in September. I can guarantee you this 12th grade list is going to be updated again, because it's important, because a lot of the kids that are beyond number 25, these kids are fighting for scholarships. And what they do every week or every 2 weeks is going to help them, or it cannot help them in their quest to do so. So that's the thing that I got to look at. And once again, I have a good question also, and I ask you, Chris, in the Dallas area, and this may be one of the reasons why people feel so what as far as the harmony of the culture of the Dallas, of the people, the evaluators. Who in Dallas has a publicized list of rankings for the DFW kids?
I thought Stacy did. No.
Publicized.
Publicized can be internet. Publicized can be Twitter.
No, publicized. Yeah, that mean people can go and look at them without paying any money. They can go and your publicized list.
Right. I listen. I haven't been that.
You got his coach last year, Jimmy.
I'm saying I thought it was Stacy. I mean, if it's not Stacy, it's nobody. If it's not Stacy, it's nobody.
So guess what? Know what that means?
Those other guys, Texas Hoops, or Allen Branch. There you go.
So
Allen Branch does the state. What about the state or the city?
Allen's is not publicized anymore. The Branch list is not publicized.
Well, you got to subscribe.
Exactly. So, and there's a reason, and we've had that conversation, and not that Allen Branch can't defend himself, but my point is this. Everybody, that's the reason you can easily be loved just by watching the kids and throwing a bunch of names on the paper and don't do the ranking. A lot of guys in Dallas are smart enough to not get into that, because their favor will fall if they go to start. So a lot of those parents, they loving and hugging and they slapping five with the kids. If they go to put those kids in a ranking order, they will become the target of criticism.
So you saying that people don't like you because you saying people don't like you because you publicize your rankings? Is that what you're saying? You're seen as a villain.
That'll form too a lot, and it's more gonna not like than it do, because nobody think about it. Number two, as you just proved a while ago, number two gonna be mad because they ain't number one, so they pissed off. Number three gonna be mad because he's been number three before, need to be number two. Then it goes on and on. So you're gonna have more to piss off than you do that's going to be happy. Know what the people that are happy when you do rankings lists like this? Do you realize where the most joy is going to come from? I know from doing this over time, it's going to come from the first time kids who've never been ranked before that jump on this list. And they could be number 49, they could be number 46. Those are the people that we happy as hell. And guess what? At the end of the day, that's okay. And that's, you got to think about it. So once again, if you're not willing to come and play and show up, that's why. And once again, the list will be updated next month after Rucker on Wood. So man,
Jimmy, why you acting like Paulie Knuckles, man? Why you acting like a gangster with the hat on? Jimmy be a gangster with the hat on. So if you don't come to my event or pay the tariff, Can't have a business on South Hall
I
Street.
tell you what,
no,
Jimmy, hold
no,
on,
I ain't
Jimmy,
saying
I got
that.
something for you. If you don't go to them Gasso events, watch what happened to you.
Oh, you right about that.
Come on now.
Right
Come
about
on,
that.
Hey,
It happened to my son.
Oh, you are right about that, Doc.
Thank
I
you.
can't-
So, Jimmy, you know, Jimmy, we done went on and on, Jimmy, but guess what? Guess what we didn't do? Everybody been asking about Fox and his
Ooh.
withdrawing from there. And I know we didn't got much time, but it's a unique
Come
day.
on,
today.
we digital day. We digital. What you mean we ain't got much time? We digital.
So let's address that because I back up through the feed. They was going.
hold on. We gotta talk about that, but we gotta go to the Facebook feed, Haller. We got some breaking text on the Facebook feed, and that is Troy Bieniemy say, Chris Walker, where your list? And then he says Chris didn't want Jamal. Chris didn't want Jamal.
I started that.
Wait a minute.
Jimmy,
I just thought about that.
Jim,
That's not true. That's not true.
Wait a minute. Didn't
I told Jamal, I told Troy, I'm so glad that Jamal didn't follow that Chris out to Cal. I'm so glad. And then that is Troy's reply to it.
Hey, Troy's
Troy
family.
didn't come out
Troy
and say
family. Troy family. Troy, you better
That's
stop
right.
before I get your wife on you.
He protected you and say you didn't want it.
That's not
He
true.
protected you.
First of all, that's not true. That was my child. That's not true. Troy, stop doing that on Facebook, boy. You know better than that.
Hey, man, hold on, Chris. We're going to talk about that later on. But meanwhile, De'Aaron Fox, the last topic for the day, guys. De'Aaron Fox had, over the weekend, he pulled out of the USA Basketball. And it came as rippling news. And this was only after, the day after the scrimmage, for which USA won. They beat Spain. I think narrowly by, I think it was 10 digits or less. And De'Aaron Fox played 6.5 minutes. And why do you guys think De'Aaron Fox left?
And why do you guys want to talk about it? Because I was blessed enough to talk to somebody that gave me a message from his camp, and I like to share it with y'all, and so you can have some kind of context. He says it's a contract year, needs to be locked in for the season. No need to go all the way to Australia, then China, come back to the USA, and then have to go to India, all the way back to India, because the Kings owner is from India. So they're going back to India with the Kings, especially if you were going to be playing spots minutes for the USA team. Wasn't like it was a Harden, Curry, or Westbrook in front of him. Pop was playing Derek White in front of him. So guess what? I understand that. I totally understand that when I go look at holistically. I really, really understand it because I talked to some players and they said, man, that thing in too late. We don't have time to recover before the NBA camp. I talked to several players who told me that. So I just thought it was odd that he went so long. I would have stopped quicker. I would have stopped, weeks ago. But he was having a great run, and the kid, he was playing, so he just said he stayed.
Adam, let me ask you a question. I hear you. We talked about this earlier, and we had some. So your stance has changed somewhat on it. But here's my deal.
Because you know why?
Got information.
Because the facts, yes.
Facts change. But if he was playing 25 minutes a game, it wouldn't matter if this was a contract year. It wouldn't matter if they was going to China and Australia. None of that stuff would matter. Right or wrong?
If he was what?
If he was a starter or playing a bunch of minutes, none of that stuff you said would matter. It wouldn't matter.
I got to
so
agree with
bottom
that.
line is he left because he wasn't playing. And I'm cool with that. But don't say all the other stuff though. Don't say all the other stuff. And because my thing is, I'd be cool with him saying, look, man, and I think he said it, but I'd have been probably a little bit more less diplomatic about it. Look, man, listen, y'all gonna play who in front of me? And what now? Are you serious? Now who's the coach? Who's Derek White's coach in the NBA? Of course. Of course. So I would have said that and left it at that. Hold on, man. So y'all think I'm gonna spend all this time and y'all gonna put Derek White in front of me? Dude says I'm out. And said it just like that.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Because that's really what it came down to. Jimmy, am I lying or what?
I mean, the timing of it does, you can actually warrant and present the question of that, because as far as knowing the schedule and the grind that would be required for this commitment to USA Basketball, you knew the itinerary before you even got into this in the bed with them. You knew when you were going to leave. You knew when you were going to get back. You knew the travel.
Jimmy, you said something to me earlier. You got to go back what you said though. He was on a select team. So remember when you said that? He probably didn't think it was going to ever amount to this.
And that's what they did say.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, he didn't think he was going to make the team.
They didn't think he. Yeah, I mean, at first you can easily say and believe that, because based on who all were before a lot of guys pulled out. And that's definitely true. He was going to get the experience out of it, maybe to get some favor and for future consideration. And now, one thing about life, just human nature, people remembers the first and they remember the last. Remember that. They remember the first and they remember the last. And he's the last to pull out. So he's going to be the one that gets the scrutiny, because he's the easy target for many. And you forget that, remember that. Nobody remembers what they ate for breakfast, only what they ate for dinner. He's the snack. So people are going to pile on De'Aaron Fox. And now what De'Aaron Fox has to go and do is go and ball out. If you ball out, and if indeed Sacramento makes the playoffs, if they can make the playoffs,
be hard in that
guess
West.
What?
Be hard in the West.
Well, okay, still, we know nothing's going to be easy. But guess what? We do know and we learn. You know what we learn, Chris? Injuries occur.
Yes.
And it's going to happen. Injury bug is going to bite somebody.
Be like the one like PJ, got and said, I'm hurt, I can't play no more. That PJ, the tough PJ. Remember how he did it? But let me ask you another question. How much money do the NBA guys that make millions of dollars, how much do they get paid to play for USA Basketball?
Zero.
Are you, hold on. So you're telling me that we get mad at De'Aaron Fox, he don't get paid
Ain't nobody
one dime.
Ain't nobody mad at him.
I'm not talking about we, I'm talking about people maybe saying X, Y, and Z about it. He don't get paid one nickel.
Magic Johnson didn't get paid. Michael Jordan didn't get paid.
Do the swimmers get paid? Hold up, do the swimmers get paid?
Yep.
Do the boxers get paid?
Nope.
Do the soccer players get paid? Because we know the women do.
They don't get paid to play in the Olympics. They don't get paid. They get paid by their endorsers.
But they get paid. Hold up. Hold up.
If they place a certain place, their companies would pay them.
Yeah, but I think the
U.S. Olympic team don't pay them.
I think that the U.S. Soccer Committee does pay them, because that's what they have to. Hold on, that's what I'm talking about, the grievance about the equal pay.
Don't go there, because guess what I found out about that?
What's that?
The women they agreed. The women agreed on a percentage of the revenue. They got a 13. Hold on, let me finish. They got a 13% percentage. The men don't get but a 9% percentage. But what happens? The men gross $6 billion, to the women's 100 and some million, 140 some, 50 some million. That's the discrepancy. That's what I was trying to tell you the other day. The women got a better percentage of them than the men, but the men's game is growing. And guess what? A woman told me, we got to start supporting our soccer stars way beyond the World Cup. Support the federation. Support when they come play in your cities. So that helps the revenue. So that's what I was trying to explain to you that day when people talking about the women not getting paid. And I didn't mean to hijack it, Jimmy, but he went there.
All right, so and that's
Jimmy,
pretty much. That's pretty much.
Can we do this tomorrow? Can we talk about the Avenatti stuff tomorrow?
No, that's on the docket for tomorrow. Is the Avenatti conversation is definitely on the docket for tomorrow. Also, want to remind you guys before we give it to Atlanta, give you some tidbits to take on this evening.
Okay.
If you haven't done so already, I strongly encourage you guys to go and watch some of the Little League baseball. And the games, of course, are on the ESPN network, but this team from Japan, they're off today. But this Japanese team, this year's team, not only are they bigger than most of our American kids and most of the teams they're playing against, but they are bringing the aluminum. These kids, and nobody has scored a point on Japan yet.
What?
Nobody has scored on them yet.
Birth certificate. Birth certificate.
Exactly.
In the Little League World Series, and of course, tonight at 7 p.m., the team that's representing the Southwest is the Louisiana team from River Ridge, and they will be in action against Minnesota. And this is an elimination game tonight. And once again, it's an elimination game, and that will be Louisiana versus Minnesota at 7 p.m. So if you get in front of your TV, get a chance to watch that game if you would. But then once again, Little League World Series is in effect. And of course, the championships will be this weekend coming up on the ABC networks. Also, before we get up out of here, guys, give you guys your Astros update. They managed to win yesterday's game against the Oakland A's, and they're still 7.5 games up. The Astros now, they were to resume action tonight against I want to say Detroit. There's in town, and the Astros will play, but they are 7.5 games up. Oakland A's was whooping our butts pretty good for until yesterday. So the Astros are went back to their winning ways. And lastly, I want to dedicate, before we give it a bounce out, want to acknowledge Alvin Brooks Jr. That's the dad who's the coach at University of Houston. Alvin Brooks Jr., he will be inducted into the Lamar University Hall of Fame, which is awesome and long overdue.